I don't rule anything out, but it's not in my plans. I do believe if the president is running for re-election, if he continues on the path that he's on, that's going to leave a huge swath of voters looking for something else.
Outgoing Republican Senator Jeff Flake of Arizona, not a fan of the president, firing a warning shot across his bow, suggesting Mr. Trump is leaving himself open to a GOP primary challenger if he seeks re-election in 2020. Let's bring in our political panel. Kelly Cohen, reporter for the Washington Examiner, and Robin Byro, former regional field director for the Obama campaign and a Democratic strategist. Good to see you both. Merry Christmas.
Good to see you. Merry Christmas.
Christmas to you, too.
Kelly, I want to start out with you. It sounds to me it's not really a surprise that Jeff Flake is not a fan of the president. But does he have a point that the president may be facing a challenger?
I think he does have a point, and I think, Jeff Flake is obviously leaving the Senate in 2018, and I could see him maybe spearheading a little bit of that effort in 2020. I'm not sure who that challenger would be. 2020 seems like a very long time away, but it's also very close. So Jeff Flake has a point.
Robin, I see you licking your chops already at the prospect of the president having a challenger, but I also know that not a single one of your Democrats in the House or Senate voted for this tax cut that the president says will sell itself in 2018. Doesn't that victory alone put him in better political standing? We're far away from 2020, but puts him in strong political standing, doesn't it?
We'll have to see, Ed, when they start selling this plan to the American public, if the public buys it. I know that right now the tax plan is unpopular with most Americans, so they're out hitting the pavement and going to make this pitch to the American public. So it's just going to be whether or not they buy into this. But I do think that he is opening himself up for a primary challenger, especially with his popularity right now. I think he's less popular in his first term than any modern-day president has been in quite some time. So I think the door is wide open.
Robin, let me stick with you for a moment before I get back to Kelly, though. On the tax cut issue, we have the 2018 midterms, obviously, long before the 2020 presidential race. Why is it that Democrats couldn't see it in the wisdom to get behind this? I know all the talk, all the rhetoric about, oh, this is just for the rich. But there are independent studies saying at least 80% of this is going to the middle class. Why couldn't your party support that?
Ed, for the reason that the majority of these tax cuts did go to the 1%. Middle-class Americans are, let me say this, 8 out of 10 Americans are getting a tax cut. The Democrats' point was
so a majority is not going to the rich, then. You're contradicting yourself.
Right. Well, they're saying that they were proportionally weren't getting enough. It's like 1.1%. Well, that's true, but for your middle-class Americans, they're going to see a savings of about $15 per paycheck. Democrats were just saying that's not enough. That wasn't what he said on the campaign trail.
Kelly, the president said a couple days back at the White House before he left for Florida that I'm not going to have to get on the road much. He said, this is going to sell itself. Is he right? Or can we fact check that maybe he is going to have to get out there and pound the pavement when you see the Wall Street Journal and others saying that this is in low double digits in terms of popularity, the tax cut right now?
I think he can benefit from getting out and, quote, pounding the pavement for sure. But the minute you hear more money in your paycheck, I think the average American is going to be happy. They're going to take the president at his word. He delivered on a major promise before he left for, the Winter White House down here in Palm Beach. So I can see him doing a little bit of the pounding the pavement, but I also think Americans are just going to see that money in their bank account and hope and approve of it.
Let's switch over to the Democratic side, because I got a soundbite I want my buddy Robin to hear all about. Here's Joe Biden.
To all of our troops spending this holiday season away from their families and loved ones, please know we think of you, and we have your backs, and we know what it's like. And we're looking for you to come home safely.
Robin, Hillary Clinton didn't leave the stage, the long book tour. Now the former vice president putting out a little Christmas message to the troops. I'm still out there. He's thinking about 2020, isn't he?
I really do think so, and I think that he would probably be the #1 choice, followed probably by Warren, and then maybe a tie between Cory Booker and Kamala Harris. With I'm afraid to say it, but I think the dark horse might just be Mark Zuckerberg, which terrifies me.
Well, what about Bernie Sanders, though? You left him out. Democrats don't like to talk about him, but he did very well against Hillary Clinton in the primaries, #1. And #2, I get that they're very early, but Bernie Sanders is on top of some of the early polls because the left in your party wants him.
They do, and make no mistake about it, but he's not a Democrat. He filed immediately, day one, to be an independent. So he'll have to make that pitch all over again. So I left him out for that reason, that he is strictly right now an independent. But I do, if he can sell it again, he might just take it.
Kelly, to be fair to Robin, there are some younger faces, Kamala Harris and Cory Booker, he mentioned, that could be in the mix in 2020 for Democrats. But there's a lot of old faces like Joe Biden, Elizabeth Warren, folks who have been around for a long time. Does the Democratic Party have an issue of regeneration?
I think definitely the Democrats, after what happened with Hillary Clinton, are going to have to look at that regeneration and that old face. You know, I'm a young face. I want to see a young face out there representing me. I don't, you know, I do think Joe Biden will probably end up running in 2020, and I think he'll probably, I can say very early, since it's not even 2018 yet, that he'll probably do pretty well. But I do think that the Democrats would benefit from a younger face.
So, Robin, since we're two of the older faces, I guess Kelly's trying to send a message to us. What do you think about the other, sort of the elephant in the room, if you will, switching metaphors from the donkey for Democrats? Barack Obama, he put out a little tweet I noticed. Merry Christmas, everyone. He's entitled to do that. He's not going to run for office again. But how big of a role do you think he will have? We've heard all about Hillary Clinton not getting off the stage, as I mentioned. But are we going to hear from Barack Obama? Will he be shaping the future of the Democratic Party?
I think so, especially if Joe Biden does jump into the mix. And I would really like to see the Biden-Obama. You know, I really used to love those memes. I think they could maybe have a lot of fun with that.
Kelly, isn't there a sense of regret for Joe Biden then, though? He was the sitting vice president. There are a lot of Republicans who didn't like Barack Obama, but the party's base loved him. And you had a sitting vice president who thought Hillary Clinton's got everything. Maybe the word is rigged, maybe not, but she's got everything going for her. And it turned out she was a lot weaker than the Democrats thought. Joe Biden's probably regretting he didn't run.
Right. I think he's regretting it. But, I mean, 2020, like we said, is kind of around the corner. So if he wants to ride that wave of regret into 2020, I don't really see anything stopping him. Like you said, he's on a book tour right now, and that's usually a pretty good stepping stone for someone running for president.
Boy, we haven't even technically hit 2018 yet, and we're already saying 2020 is around the corner. That's because we're political junkies. We just love this stuff. From the younger face, Kelly Cohen and Robin.
Thank you.
You're not that old.
Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas, guys.